From walking barefoot in Jamaica to being a sous chef in the Cayman Islands, my guest today is Glenmark Smelly, and he's here to share an inspiring story of how he was able to overcome poverty in Jamaica to now living his dream in the Cayman Islands. For those joining on Roots 96.1 FM, thank you. My name is Sandy Heron. And for those joining on my YouTube channel, welcome back. Hi, Glenmark. Thank you so much for being on the program today.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you very much for having me. This is Chef Glenmark Smelly.
You're not the chef at all, right?
No, I put my title in front of my name so you know who I am.
Right, because you worked very hard for it.
Very hard and passionate about my career.
Okay, so I am in Japan and it is now Wednesday morning at 9:35 a.m. What time is it in the Cayman Islands?
In the Cayman Islands now is 7:38 p.m. Tuesday in the night.
Okay, what has it been like working in Cayman? I've never visited before.
Working in Cayman is a nice experience because for me back home, I used to cook a lot, but since being here is like more. So it's like college for me. So it's a great learning experience. Something that I always wanted because I always love to advance myself in my career area. Okay. I don't like to be at the same level all the time. I like growth. So I like new dishes, which I learn a lot here and add more to my experience. It pushed me far away.
Okay, so where are you working? Are you working as a hotel or are you working as a private restaurant?
I'm currently working at a deli, a supermarket deli, but we do very good dishes there. It's Early's Supermarket in Grand Harbor. It's in the Cayman Islands. We do very nice dishes, various types, Caribbean and international.
Okay, and how long have you been in the Cayman Islands?
In the Cayman Islands, little over 2 years.
Oh, wow. So, and I have been in Japan for a little over 2 years, so I understand. Okay. So I want to talk to you about the journey before getting to Cayman, what your life was like in Jamaica and why you decided to move from your home country. So my shirt from Jamaica, Best Jamaican Experience, it says yard vibes, yard, and that's to say yard vibes, yard vibes, yard vibes. And I am missing home and I know why I moved to Japan. But I want to know why you decided to move to Cayman. Why did you decide to make that journey?
All right. First thing, being in Jamaica, it's nice. Jamaica is a nice tropical country. Everyone wants to visit from other parts of the world. But for me, where working is concerned, I'm not making much. And I always thinking about family and I want to have a family one day. And I want to be able to sustain my family properly. So working in Jamaica wasn't that much for me. Sometimes I do like 2 jobs, 2.5 jobs, and sometimes it's still not working out the way I wanted. So I decided that one day I want to go overseas, work on a cruise ship program. I tried and didn't work out in my favor. Then I had a church brother who lived here in the Cayman Islands. I asked him to help me out to get a job here. So I keep sending application from 2016. So I keep searching on the web, see if I find anything. I get an interview once. They need a sous chef at that time, but at that time, I wasn't a sous chef. I was just a regular chef working in different restaurants as lead chef or assistant lead chef. But continue pushing myself and tell myself, I want to get there, I want to get there. I keep pushing, motivating myself until one day, I think it's May 2018, I got a call to do an interview to come to Cayman Islands. And that was very exciting for me because I always want to leave. I always tell people one day I'm going to leave Jamaica and I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to work. I'm going to come on television one day and share my inspiring story. This one, as I say, is something I always have in my mind. That's why it's always good to motivate yourself and believe in yourself, know what you want, and tell yourself, yeah, I can reach. As I say, sky's the limit. So I'm pushing myself there.
Absolutely, and the sky's the limit. Well, it's not television this time, but it's YouTube TV. And then it's also radio, Big Up Roots 96.1 FM. So You mentioned it's important for us to motivate ourselves, right? And I know I can attest to that. It's very important. But you grew up in Jamaica. What area of Jamaica did you grow up in?
I grew up in the parish of St. Mary, nice parish, St. Mary, Top Leinster, St. Mary.
Okay.
That's where I grew up. I lived there when I was 14 years old.
And when you left there, where did you go to live?
I live in the Stony Hill area with my mom.
Okay. So
That's
you
the place to
mentioned motivation. Were you always like that? Where did that drive come from as a young man living in Jamaica to say that I want better for myself?
All right. Growing up in the country with my grandmother, started off with my grandmother. She's a very inspiring spiritual woman. When I say spiritual, I don't mean, you know, Jamaican terms of spiritual,
Ooh,
but she's
ooh.
very godly
Yes.
and she grew us up with proper morals, proper ethics. How to say good morning, thank you. If you go to someone's house, don't go inside unless they invite you. When you go inside, don't sit unless they told you to. So things like those. So I adapt her attributes and I see the way how she portray her image and I really respect it. So from that I tell myself, yeah, I start to tell myself that even when family wise, I just only want one wife for family because I don't want to be having kids here and there and all of that. I wasn't brought up like that. So based on the home I grew up in and my grandmother, she inspired me and motivated me a lot. So she always tell us that as a young man, learn how to do things so when you grow big, woman will take you make cricket. So that stick in my head. So I always have that in my head, and I keep on learning to do everything around the house, washing. Sometimes we wash, as children. You wash and they come and supervise what you wash. And sometimes it's not pleasing to them, so they go back and wash it again. So, from there on, I tell myself, yeah, I want to become a man. I want to become a motivator. I don't just want to be just a normal person like everybody. I want to be someone who can motivate and help someone.
Okay. And as you're sharing this, it makes me think back to a time when I lived with my grandmother in St. Anne. I lived with her for a little while, and it just got me back to some wonderful childhood memories. So yeah, I'm having serious flashback right now. But you lived in the country and then you went on to Stony Hill. You also shared with me before the interview that things were tight. Sometimes you never had any money to go to school.
All right, back in the country, it was rough.
Hmm.
Even though I was living near school, I could walk. It's a walking distance. The school was in my community. So I walked to school day by day. Mom didn't have much. That time, things was pretty rough on everybody. My mom, my whole family. But we learned from my grandmother how to be content with whatever you have. Don't go to your neighbor and tell your neighbor that, oh, I didn't have sugar this morning to sweeten my tea. Sometimes we drink the tea without sugar.
Yes.
And when we go on the road, we are normal, like everything is okay. We have a nice meal for the day. Sometimes, you want money to buy a shoes or you want money to buy just other kids with things that you would want. You just can't have it. But we try our best to be content with what we have. So I personally give God thanks for that. Even though if I should go back to that life, I was still able to manage.
Okay. And wow, that's very admirable. Your story reminds me of a lot of things. Like I remember when I was younger and I went to Balmaji Primary in Waterhouse in Kingston. And I did not have a lot of uniforms. There was a skirt that I had and it had a iron burn on it. And I had to continue to wear that skirt. And even one of my shirts had stains on it. And no matter how many times you wash it, the stain would not. The armpits had the stain on it and it couldn't be removed. And I know sometimes as kids, as children, when you don't have everything that you need, and even when you see other children, every year they're getting new school bag, they're getting new school shoes, and you don't have those things. And sometimes it makes you feel a little insecure. But what I'm hearing from you, Glenmark, is that no matter what was happening, you were just good to go.
I pushed ahead and I try my best to be content with what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Because at one point, going to school, I didn't used to wear shoes to my all age school.
Really?
And the kids, the bigger kids, they would set maca, little maca for us. Because, it's country, so you have a little maca, they set it for us and stick me in the foot bottom.
Oh my goodness.
And the teacher would flag them, but they always laughed at us. And I didn't pay it no mind. So at one point, I remember I didn't have bag. I didn't have a knapsack to put my books in. So I have to put my book in my little scandal bag
Yeah.
and my little pencil, and I put it on my back, and I go home. And I go home, and I know that one day God is gonna make a way. My grandmother, she's God fearing, and she brought us up that way. So have that belief, knowing that someday God will make a way for us.
Wow. It's amazing that you had that mindset even so young. So applause to you, man. I am very,
Thank
very
you.
impressed. There are persons who are listening, Glenmark, who are in some really trying circumstances. There are kids who are listening who are going to school and they don't have everything. And there are persons who feel disheartened, and you can't really blame them. But based on the journey that you have had, what would you want to say to somebody like that?
Well, for me, I want to let them know that don't give up because better is always ahead. But as I always say, the most important thing you put God first.
Yes.
Because without God, we can't do it. He's the one that will help us and aid us in life. So you want to put God first, believe in yourself. Tell yourself, I want to become something worthwhile in life. You don't want to be another statistic, be on the street with guns or weed or have your pants hanging down, your buttocks. You want to be someone that someone can look up to and say, well, I would want to be like him. You want to motivate yourself. Choose a career that you love, something that you're passionate about, that you can see yourself long term in. You want to make sure that if you have younger siblings, like brothers or sisters or even persons in your community, they can motivate them. They can look and say, well, I really love to see how this person is moving. I really want my daughter to be like that person or my son to be like that person. So you want to be a role model for your community and also for your family members.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Glenmark. That is a great message for anyone who is listening. So, what's the best dish that you have cooked up? What would you say is like your go-to food, your go-to dish?
Well, I love fish in coconut sauce.
Oh yeah, me
That's one
too.
of my. Right now, I have some fish inside. No, not some. I have one fish inside that I prepare for my dinner. I haven't done it as yet,
Oh my.
and I love to do that. I love my fish and my vegetables. Because you leave certain type of food. Because I'm in food zone. I used to love like the yam and the dumplings and such like, but I eat so much of that in my childhood days. It's like I don't have the love for it anymore.
Yes.
So I just eat simple. I just eat simple now. I didn't have much fish back then because it's more like chicken or chicken back or mackerel and things like those. So now I have the chance can buy fish. I buy and I cook and eat.
Bashment. So let me see if you pass the test, Glenmark. Can you cook oxtail?
Sure, oxtail is simple. Simple
Can you
food.
can you cook ackee and saltfish?
That is so simple. Those are our basic Caribbean dishes.
Well, if you can cook oxtail and you can cook ackee and saltfish, you win.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Denmark, for taking the time to talk with me today and for sharing your story here on Roots 96.1 FM and also with my subscribers on YouTube.
Thank you so much for having me. Peace of God be with you.
Okay, and that's all the time that we have for today's program. Be sure to join us next week for another episode in Stories Around the World. For persons on YouTube, if you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscription bell so that you can know when I post new videos. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's it. That's the wrap.